We're here. Welcome to Monkey Time. Hi. It's live. You could call up. 996-6775. I'm always curious. I swear, Carol, I'm going to be very calm because I'm in a good mood. The anti-gay bigots have been doing a clown show the last couple of weeks. It's really the only words. It's a clown show, right? I mean, it looks like Amendment 1's going to pass. I've been telling you, Carol. She's disappointed. But you know what? You can't let it get you down. It passed in California. So I was like trying to be quiet, you know, but you know, if it's gonna pass, it looks like, I mean, there's a chance. But here's the thing. As we watch the frenzy up to the vote, we're seeing some very revealing stuff happen. And kids, especially the young queer kids, don't let it get you down, especially the young queer kids trapped in families of bigoted parents and brothers and sisters and siblings. Remember, you're not alone. You can survive this. You can get through, right? What did they say, Carol? It gets better, right? But as we try not to depress people too much, we have to be honest and say there's a very slim chance that the amendment is not going to pass, which means that we can kind of step back and look and examine what's been going on with kind of a little bit of a jaundiced eye, I suppose. Man, the preacher. Oh, that's the one that I needed, Carol. Then the fourth one was the guy who said you should beat your kids, beat your gay and lesbian kids if they're effeminate or butch. That's the fourth one that we should put up. Okay, we'll get to that. But there have been some really funny things that have been going on here. Can we put up number? I know, I shouldn't laugh. But can we put up number 12? I think it is, Carol. Yes, this is Patrick Wooden, who's a black preacher at the Upper Room Church in downtown Raleigh. Now, the NNO can't really cover this, Carol, because it's the kind of thing that the NNO doesn't want to appear on in their paper. But this is someone who is using his church as a pulpit to spew the worst kind of hatred about, and it's basically pure lying stereotypes about gay and lesbian people. He's been spewing things. He goes on interviews. Patrick Wooden, I call him a so-called pastor because there ain't no pastor in the world I know, spews lies for his religion deliberately, and that's what he has admitted he's done. He goes on interviews, he talks to people, and he pulls out these ridiculous statistics about how I saw a story about a gay man who had an iPhone up his, he didn't use the word butt, and he was on the operating table to get it out, Carol, and the phone rang. Now this is what the pastor of the Upper Room is spewing to people. And when he was confronted by Pam Spalding from Pam's House Blend, you know that blog, Carol? It's a good one, Pam's House Blend. She's from Durham. Just Google Pam's House Blend. She was at a panel with him recently, and she asked him, well, where's the evidence for that? And he basically, according to her account, admitted that he didn't have the story, he didn't have any evidence for the story, but it's the kind of thing that he says because he believes really strongly in this stuff. So here's a pastor, quote unquote, spewing the worst kind of lie. There's never been a cell phone up someone's butt that rang on the operating table. I will print out the word cell phone up the butt that rang on the operating table and eat them if Patrick Wooden can ever, or do whatever Patrick Wooden wants me to do with them, because obviously he thinks more about this stuff than I do, that whatever he wants with them if that story is true. And then he pulls out these ridiculous statistics about anal sex in men, not recognizing that anal sex is also equally popular among straight people as it is among gay people, generally about a third, according to most surveys, of gay people, of gay men, and straight couples. Gay male couples, straight couples. Generally, a quarter to a third of adult couples engage in anal sex. It's not just our thing, and it's not our thing for a lot of us. But here he is talking about how gay men have to wear diapers because they've you-know-what so much.
That's that guy.
That's Patrick Wooten. He's right here in Raleigh. And he's a black preacher. It's so disappointing. It would be like a white preacher going out there and saying, well, you know those black folks are too lazy for the vote. You know all they want to do is eat watermelon and fried chicken all day. That's exactly what Patrick Wooten of the Upper Room Church in Raleigh is doing to gay people. Remember, not all gay people are white, right? About the same percentage of gay people are black or Hispanic or whatever as in the general population, which Carol, of course, gets to it's kind of a naturally occurring thing. They love to, the anti-gay folks, they're really funny because they love to twist and turn. Anyway, number one is Patrick Wooten, or Wooden, sorry. Why do I keep saying Patrick Wooten? Isn't that a football player or something? I think, yeah, something like that. Anyway, this guy loves to go on radio shows and do panel discussions where he talks about how awful and evil and unhealthy gay people are. And he tells this story about a gay man on the operating room with a cell phone up his butt that rings while they're doing surgery, in the middle of surgery. He just makes it up or gets it from his other anti-gay friends. They're fascinated with it, and it makes you a little wonder what's going on with them, Carol, because they're the only ones who keep on bringing this garbage up, right? So, no evidence it's true. Let's go to number two, Carol. This one just hit recently. What is this? Oh, no. The orgy, speaking of lots of sex, apparently, now I may be playing fast and loose, I may be using poetic license a little bit, apparently there's orgies going on in Speaker Thom Tillis' office all the time. And these are adulterous straight orgies. Okay, I'm kidding. They're not quite adulterous orgies, but according to the N&O article about the most recent one, remember the first one hit House Aid Lobbyist Linked, right? Can you see that, Carol? That was the one that hit last Friday, right? This guy has been fooling around with this lobbyist. He's married, she's married. All around Raleigh, for months, people have been seeing them go out. Thom Tillis says he thought they were just friends. He asked them about the rumors. This is the Speaker of the NC House, not Senate. I'm sorry. Did I say Senate? Oh, I'm sorry. Can you change that to House, Carol? My bad. He's the House Speaker. He's like Jim Black. I'm sorry. That was a brain fart. So Tillis swears that he didn't know. But this guy was bringing the lobbyist back to the apartment that he shares with the Speaker of the House, Thom Tillis. They're roommates. Oh, come on. Oh, I drive around a lot, he says. That's what Thom Tillis says, that he didn't know. That his roommate is screwing around with his married roommate screwing around with a married woman. How many of you have roommates right now? How many of you think you could be screwing around with a married woman and your roommate not know? Maybe it's possible. I'm skeptical, right? And they work together. Okay, all right. So that's the second little bit of hilarity. Now, well, that's 2A. Here's 2B. This just hit. Was this in today's paper? I think it was in today's paper, right? No, it must have been yesterday's paper. Sorry, I've got it here in a second. Where was it? There's another one. Where was it? I have it somewhere, Carol. Oh, well. There's another one in the same office, right? Another guy who just, it was in today's paper. Yeah, here it is. In the same office, Thom Tillis' office. Apparently this was a thing, screwing around with lobbyists. Now, Jim Black only went into toilet stalls, right? Jim Black only went into toilet stalls and got money under the toilet stall. That is the defining moment of the Jim Black scandal, right? So the Democrats can be funny too. But here it is, second Tillis staffer to resign. Policy analyst admits to affair with lobbyists. Now, the N&O doesn't tell us in this one, at least I didn't see it, whether they're both married too. Although the lobbyist, the female lobbyist, is quoted as saying that she left it because Tillis changed the rules. She resigned her position because Tillis changed the rules. They can't be friends anymore. I have many close personal friendships, that's what she says, with lobbyists. And close personal friendships and relationships and friendships do not rise to the level of an affair, she says. So she used the word affair. So one of them is married, is my guess, Carol. We'll follow up on that. Anyway, so that's the second one. That's the second thing. So they're all anxious about their own marriages. And that's why they lash out. We're a really, queer kids, we're just an easy target right now for all this other anxiety out there in the world. Job anxiety, other things, everyone's really furious, and now it's called being a scapegoat. And you know what, queer kids? You can take it, because they're wrong and we're going to win. We're not going to win this vote, but they're wrong and we're going to win. All the trends are in our favor. And Carol, remember, how many other southern states have this already? All of them. That's one of their arguments, right? So we can take pride in that North Carolina, just like we were the last state to join to secede from the United States, right? Did you know that, Carol? North Carolina was the last state to secede from the United States, and North Carolina, well, they don't like this when I bring this up, Carol, some of them. North Carolina had the strongest anti-war movement during the Confederate War, the Civil War. North Carolina. The editor of their main newspaper in Raleigh would have to leave town when Georgia regiments would come through because he was so against this stupid war. Rich man's war, poor man's fight. That came from the mountains of North Carolina, where they rebelled against conscription and just any kind of drafting of men, right? Any kind of attempt to get them to go fight. There was major resistance all across North Carolina. Last to the punch in North Carolina. Well, basically what happened was that the gay folks, gay activists in North Carolina, succeeded in keeping the bill bottled up. It would have passed if it would have not been bottled up by the leadership in the House and Senate in North Carolina under the Democrats. We knew that. We know that. So as soon as the leadership became Republican, I just knew it was going to pass. And then, of course, when it went to the public, because we're scapegoats. It's okay, kids. We're gonna win. All the trends are in our favor. Okay, number three. Number three, this one just came out. One of the guys who wrote Amendment 1, right? State Senator Peter Brunstetter. Nice, good German name. Right, Carol? I'm just saying. She was quoted, this just hit today. She was quoted, of course, it's all being spread over the Twitters. She was quoted second hand, right? Actually, now it's third hand. She was at the early voting site in Forsyth County in Winston-Salem, and voters there, poll workers there, heard her say to somebody something like, well, my husband wrote the amendment because we have to protect the Caucasian race. And the United States is a Caucasian country, blah, 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 blah. Now, this must be news to, it's probably not news to Patrick Wooden, the black preacher who's so anti-gay. He's in bed with people who, maybe it was just Carol, maybe it was just an innocent slip of the tongue. Maybe when she said that Amendment 1 was written to protect the Caucasian race and America as a Caucasian country, maybe she didn't mean that Amendment 1 was written to protect the Caucasian race and America is a Caucasian country. Maybe she didn't mean what she said. It happens. It happens to me. You make slips of the tongue. Sometimes they're revealing, sometimes they're not. So when the guy who was there, freelance journalist, was working for a Democrat, and brought a witness and a camera to her and asked her about this, she admitted she used the word Caucasian. And the transcripts, if you go to put on my Twitter feed, Carol, if you don't mind, please. It's hilarious that this is just, we're learning new things. That's not the kind of slip of the tongue that comes easily to somebody who doesn't think that the Caucasian race needs to be protected. I just don't believe that. So, all right, anyway. Number 3. Oh, yeah. So, just follow the links at my Twitter page and read the transcripts. This one is a little tricky because it's like third hand. We unfortunately don't have the direct quote. We only have the direct quotes of her admitting that she used the term Caucasian, but she was misunderstood, blah, 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 whatever. So it's interesting. If you believe the report, then she has some explaining to do. And so does Peter Brunstetter with a nice German name. Not that all German, some of my best friends are German, Carol. So as you look at what's happening here, you're kind of seeing an unraveling of the logic, and I use the terms loosely. There's nothing logical about what's going on here. There's fear. And young queer kids, lesbian kids, bi kids, trans kids, they're scared of something, and they look at us, we're different. It's classic psychology. It's classic monkey psychology. Carol, that's not classic monkey psychology? You're scared of something here, you see something different, you define it as vehemently, violently other than you, and you attack it. And this is an easy way where they can attack us. And as they're gearing up the attack and feeling their oats, they're slipping, the facade of kindness and logic is slipping, and we're really seeing what this is about. It's about lies about who we are. Wooden's even using the gerbils thing, Carol. The gerbils thing. He's resurrecting the gay men put gerbils up their butt thing.
I thought that was Richard Gere.
Richard Gere does not, Richard Gere's a whole other, no, yeah, Richard Gere, that's right, it was Richard Gere, wasn't it? It was, that was the rumor, it was Richard Gere. I mean, this is old lies. It's so blatant that they're just making crap up because they don't know what they're doing. It's not logic. And every point, young queer kids, remember, every point they're using is illogical. First they say it's unnatural. Then you say, well, actually, it shows up all over the natural world. Homosexuality, bisexuality, it's actually kind of the norm. And monogamous pairing for life actually is kind of a minority. And in fact, most large mammals, or mammal-sized mammals, most mammals in a group, in most species, don't have kids. Okay, it's about reproducing and it's like, no, actually half of America's single right now. They're worried, they're scared, they don't know what they're doing. So the natural thing, when you say, no, actually, it's all over the natural world, and there's a good argument genetically for a family to have some non-reproducing members around to help support the reproducing members. So that's why maybe over the centuries and millennia and millions of years, it keeps on popping up as something genetically useful. We're around. We can babysit. You know? That's good to have around for parents. It lowers the stress level. The parents can live to reproduce another kid. You know, this is good for the country. It's good for the world. But when you point out that it's all over the natural world, they say, well, so is like baby cannibalism. And you're like, well, wait a minute. I'm not saying everything in the natural world's good, but you're the ones who say it's not natural. And now when we say it is natural, you change the terms of the debate. Well, then stop saying it's unnatural, and we won't bring up the natural world. Right, Carol? It's pretty logical. They say it's unnatural. We tell them it's not. They change it and say, well, not everything natural is good. It's like, but that's not what you said. The same thing happens with marriage has always been one man and one woman. Even Bev Perdue did this, Carol. Now, she's done a better statement. Bev Perdue, our quitting governor, she's not quitting in the middle of her term, at least. She's no Sarah Palin, but she's quitting so she doesn't lose in the fall or something. And I don't know. I think I wish she wasn't. I think a lot of people wish she wasn't, but I don't know. Maybe it'll be good. Bev Perdue last fall came out with this mealy-mouthed statement. There's like, well, I would support again a law defining marriages between one man and one woman. It's like, that's our friends, Carol. Bev Perdue's our friend. She's on our side. Yeah, I would vote for that law again, defining marriages between one. Thanks, Bev. But she's at least mealy-mouthed about civil unions, and she didn't quite come out in favor of them in her newest statement a couple weeks ago, but she did at least bring them up, as this would hurt civil unions and domestic partnerships too. Unfortunately, a lot of people want to vote against those too. There's one side here that's destroying marriages, Carol, and it ain't us. They say marriage has always been one man and one woman, and then you point out, well, actually, no, it hasn't. It's always been one family's female as property handed off to another female to create alliances, up until the 1800s, Carol, when people started marrying for love. And we want in on that recent change, too. Marriage between one man and one woman, we know it's not the way it always was, because the Old Testament has dozens and hundreds of wives in some cases, Solomon, David. And when you bring that up, they say, no, that's the Old Testament, the New Testament's changed all that. And you're like, but that's not what you said, right? You said marriage has always been between one man and one woman. And they just ignore the parts of reality in their own Bible. I mean, the words are the reality, right? I'm not saying everything in the Bible is true, but they believe it is. They ignore the part that says that no, there have been hundreds and thousands of years in the human species where marriages were between one man and many women, right? But when you bring that up, they kind of turn their head, forget that, and then say, the next time they're on TV, marriage has always been between one man and one woman, and journalists let them get away with this. Every time they say that, we should be saying, no, it hasn't. And then they'll change the argument, but at least you can say, but that's not what you said. If you stop saying marriage has always been between one man and one woman in Western civilization, then we'll stop pointing out that it hasn't. So again, it's lies. Come on, that's a blatant lie. And yet they keep on saying it over and over and over again. Why? Don't let it get you down, kids. Carol, you're letting it get you down, right?
Yeah.
You want to tell the story?
Yeah, I guess.
Carol has this, when you get preachers lying from the pulpit, it's really, at first you're just like, wow, that's ballsy, you know? Yeah. And then you just laugh.
I'm trying to get to the laughing part of all of this. I was kind of hesitant to talk about it, doing this backwards, because I just tried to wipe it out of my mind because I felt so bad about it. But I stopped in to see a neighbor, and she had a vote for sign in her yard, and I asked her if she'd voted yet, and wanted to talk about why. You know, I asked her if I could try to talk her out of it. And she told me that her minister told the congregation that if this amendment didn't pass, that they were going to be forced to do gay marriages in their church, and he was so profoundly, you know, sickened by the idea that he was going to stop doing all marriages altogether just to keep from having to do it.
Wow.
Well, yeah, so this woman has a daughter who is marrying age, and so basically he bullied her and said, your daughter's not going to get married in the church that she grew up in because of these gays. And it's all their fault, and here's your yard sign, vote for.
And it's not true.
No.
There's no way on earth if this amendment fails,
If this amendment does
that
not,
churches will be forced.
yes, if this amendment does not pass, there's still against a law against gay marriage in North Carolina. Nothing changes. No lawsuits about how this is all going to play out. There's not going to be people losing benefits or just the money alone. The only people that are going to benefit from this are lawyers, because all this does is have this broad language that is going to have to be interpreted, and as soon as it passes, let the lawsuits begin.
Court battles are going to
Yeah.
start. And he also said that the stuff that we were saying about people losing their health
no one
benefits
is going to lose their insurance. He
That's
told
what he
them,
said.
he assured them that that was all a liberal lie, a liberal.
Okay, let's remember that. A preacher
Yes.
saying no one's going to lose their health benefits when Amendment 1 passes, right?
Yes.
That's the first thing that's going to happen, is they're going after Chapel Hill,
Yep.
Durham, and Asheville, right?
Yep, and
Where
Carborough
gay-
too, and I think Carborough also has it. I'm sorry, these people that are so anti-gay, they are gonna throw a fit about their tax money going for something that they clearly have a written document now, not only a law, but a constitutional amendment that says this is against the law. Those rights will be pulled as fast as they can pull them.
And the preacher was lying.
And he just bald-faced lied to the group, or seriously misguided. But I think we should be sending all of the healthcare costs over to his church for all the people that are going to be left out in the cold. Just a thought. Okay.
All right, thanks, Carol. I can't believe the preachers lied. Did he say anything about gerbils by your neighbor's report? No, that preacher's not talking about gerbils? Well, thank God for small favors. But here's the biggest one, and we only have a couple minutes. Number 4, Carol. This is Sean, what's his name? What is the guy's name? Sean Harris is a preacher in Fayetteville. Most of you have heard about this by now, right? And he gave a sermon Sunday, because preachers all over the state, and I'm telling you, this is really hard to fight. Preachers all over the state are fulminating against gays. Imagine being a young queer kid in a church where Sean Harris, or what if you're a young effeminate boy in a family in Fayetteville in that church, and this preacher said, dads, I can't be any more clear. When that limp-wristed boy starts doing the limp-wrist stuff, you punch him. Punch him. Now he says it was a joke. You can go to my Twitter page. You can follow the link to Tal Road, which is a gay news blog, gay politics blog. He's really funny, actually. He's snarky. Oh, and thank you so much to our sponsors there. I really want to thank them, especially Lump's having a big party this Friday for First Friday. Go out this Friday on Martin Street, right in front of where the studio is. A bunch of galleries are closing off the block, and they're having a block party here. Then there's Fayetteville Street over by Raleigh Times, which is always hopping. Lump is having a big party because one of the owners, Bill, is having his birthday celebration. So Lump is having a party, the Lump Gallery. So basically all of downtown is going to be partying for Bill from Lump's birthday on Friday. Oh, really? We'll be all, oh, there'll be politics too. How much time did Ed say?
We got 15 seconds.
Oh, 15 seconds. All right, you can email me. Don't give up the fight, queer kids. Don't give up the fight. We're gonna win, I promise. It's true. It's just ignorance falls every time.